Hello, thank you for checking this guide out. This is my competitive guide to Smash for Rosalina and Luma. My name is Dabuz. If you don't know who I am, a little bit back about myself is I've been playing Smash competitively for about 7 years. I've been a professional level player for about 5 years. I've been playing Rosalina and Luma since Smash 4 first came out in the 3DS, and I've won many tournaments with her in both the New Jersey region, but a few other states, and online. I won the Nintendo National 3DS tournament. I also won, I got second place at Apex 2015 in singles, and then 7th in doubles with my partner Dtilt. And I'm considered one of the best Smash 4 players at the time making this guide, and the best Rosalina player in the world. And I'm making this guide in hopes of teaching everyone, like of all skill levels, how to play this character, whether you want to pick the character up, and maybe want to learn some more things about the character. You came to the right place, the right video, to learn just how to play Rosalina and Luma. And a few of the thoughts on this character is she requires a lot of time to really get good with because of Luma being a factor you have to invest a lot of technical knowledge into, a lot of set knowledge, and overall you cannot pick this character up and expect to play her and do well with her because you have to rely so much on character-specific knowledge combined with very strong fundamentals. She's also a character that generally is a patient character, not necessarily defensive, but she doesn't have the ability to just be super offensive and rush down people without customs. I think she is definitely a top 10 character. I think she's around 8th or 9th best. Anything above that is stretching it when her worst matchup is Diddy Kong, which is a very common character in competitive play. And she has a few bad matchups with a lot of the better characters like Sheik and Pikachu and Sonic. But she does well, actually exceptionally well against pretty much everyone else, all the high tier characters, mid tier characters, etc. And I will not be talking about customs in this video, that would be reserved for another video. But with customs on, that changes a lot and she does become a top 5 character. So what makes this good character good and makes her not so good? Well, quite simply, she is one of the most ridiculous movesets in the game for keeping people out, for walling them, keeping them away. Lots of fast moves with a lot of range, good damage, lots of follow-ups. She has no issue killing with her smashes, her up air, her back air, pretty much her entire moveset just has filled kill moves. And most of her moves have follow-ups, combos, setups. She's able to control a lot of stage easily through use of Luma. Luma itself is an asset that oftentimes frustrate people by interrupting them during attacks, messing up combos, etc. I'll talk about Luma a bit more later, but it's ridiculous. And overall, she is just a master of keeping people out and controlling the neutral. She has ridiculous juggles with the ability to do a lot of damage and just kill people off her juggle game, which is safe and hard to deal with. Her edge guard game is also amazing, allowing her to throw people off stage, go off stage very far and hit people and kill people, and then recover due to her great recovery and great air mobility. She is 22nd fastest runner in the game, 29th fastest walker in the game. Her air speed, I think, is also 22nd fastest horizontally. Her fall speed is the 3rd slowest with just fall and fast fall. And overall, you just have a character with a ridiculous moveset and the ability to just rack up damage and ride momentum easily. And control the stage. So what are her weaknesses? Her weaknesses really just come down to her character attributes. She is a 4th place character in the game, only being heavier than Jigglypuff, Kirby, and Game & Watch. She is also reliant on Luma, and Luma is not particularly hard to kill. And so without Luma, her moves are not that great, and she's pretty much a sitting duck. So, right there, if you make mistakes with this character, you're going to be punished super hard, so you have to play her basically perfectly. And you can't play a character perfectly. You're going to make mistakes, you're going to be red. And so that's really her main weakness, is just that there's very little room for error. And then her other main weakness is just her size. She is a tall character. She gets pressured by a lot of short hop aerials easily. A lot of the short aerials give her a lot of issues. And so, certain matchups just become a pain in the butt due to single moves that have lots of range and have no lag upon landing when short hopped. But if you can get past the fact that you have to play pretty much perfectly, play as character, past those short hop aerials that give her trouble, you have a character with very few downsides and one of the best movesets in the game and lots of potential to only get better as people find out more techniques with Luma. So I'm going to start this guide off strong by talking about Rosalina and Luma's best move, their jab. Now there's a lot to talk about, so I'm going to go over everything very quickly. Rosa's jab is actually not that great. It has a lot of SARP, a lot of cooldown. The main use for it is the multi-hit ender, which does a lot of damage, and as you saw there, it kills very early. It also, if they're in between Rosalina and Luma, it will shield poke them, guaranteed, if they're shielding. If they're not shielding, it's just a lot of damage. Rosa's jab by itself can also shield poke, although it's less consistent. And when using Rosa's jab, you generally want to use the shield poke aspect of it. Luma's jab is the opposite, where Luma's jab has low startup, low cooldown, a long-range hitbox, lots of damage, combo potential. Luma's jab is the jab. It is the best jab in the game, in my opinion. At 0%, you can combo characters with Luma jab and Upair. If I can do it right. It's a little bit hard to do on certain characters like Fox, but you can do 1, 2, 3 into Upair. And then they're next to Rosa. When you get the jab, it combos into Luma's jab if they're next to each other. So you do this, and that guarantees an Upair afterwards. And so Luma's jab also kills, killing Fox around 140 on FD, and it kills straight up. So what makes this move good though is the fact that you can cancel Luma's jab. So remember I said Luma's jab has lots of range, low cooldown, all this good stuff. What makes it even better is that this move is actually a 5-part move. So do this again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. However, you can make a multi-hit on the 3rd part by just mashing it. And at any points from jab 1 to 4, you can cancel by either crouching, jumping, rolling, moving period, pressing a B move, shielding. And with any of these, between jabs 1 to 4, you cancel the move with minimal, if no lag. And so the trick using this move is these cancels. So I can go jab 1, 2, jab 1, 2, jab 1, 2 over and over into side B eventually. And then redo this into maybe a forward smash. Then do jab 1, 2, 3 into Upair. And you have as many options as you can think of because you can cancel into literally every move in Rosa's arsenal by just moving around, pressing anything. Any input, or even just waiting a second after one of the jabs, lets you cancel. And so, as examples of this, you can go jab 1, 2, someone shields, grab. Next time they think you're going to grab with the jab 2, you just keep pressing jab. Or maybe you do jab 1, 3, and someone thinks they're going to roll past you, and so they try rolling into you, just do jab 1, 2, 3 into the multi-hit jab. And then they get caught as they roll into Rosa by the multi-hit, or even they might just get caught by Luma because Luma's jabs is so fast. If they try jumping after a jab, you could just go jab, 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 jab. Oh, they're going to jump, up there, or up smash. And so the fact that you can cancel into every move in Rosalina's arsenal with this jab is what makes it so good. And I can talk about hours of how different options and scenarios can play out. So kind of just experiment with yourself, see what you can do, and figure out how you can use this jab and the cancels effectively. The other important aspect of this jab, oh, one other thing. You can actually infinite people certain characters with this jab. So you go on Fox, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. It's a little bit hard to do. Takes a bit of timing. Like you have to do the crouch cancels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that Uptilt is actually guaranteed if done right. And Uptilt is guaranteed in every character, and only a few like Fox get hit by the strong part of Uptilt. So yeah, you can infinite certain characters. And now another aspect of this jab is the fact that when you jab, Luma inches forward. So if I go jab 1, Luma goes nowhere. Jab 2, Luma steps forward slightly. Jab 3, however, Luma goes a huge distance. So I can't reach Fox with forward smash from here. There's no way. However, oops, I messed it up. So can't reach Fox, can't reach Fox. Look at this. All the way from here, with Luma synced to Rosa, I just forward smashed him. And similar to the cancels, I can't really go over all the scenarios, but you can use a lot of strategies like this where you inch Luma forward, and you catch people off guard by inching Luma forward. Even if you don't want to catch people off guard, you can just cover options. So I could pressure Fox from here by just moving Luma forward with his jab cancels and keeping Luma here. And then if Fox was shielding Luma here, Fox can't even roll towards me because if he rolls when Luma's like here, he'll roll right into Rosa. And so this comes into play a lot on the edge, where a lot of times you can be like around here, and if you think Fox is going to grab the ledge, fall down and re-grab it, you just inch Luma forward and go downwards. And then if Fox is on the ledge in general, you can frame chop him. So if Fox is getting off the ledge, let's just say, he's hanging on, and Luma is... Try one more time. Right here, I can do anything I want. I can cancel Luma anyway, so if Fox were to get up regularly, he's going to get hit by Luma. If Fox were to roll into me, he'll get hit by Rosa. If I just hold my jab, I'll just multi-hit and catch everything. So his only option here is to jump. However, I could just keep Luma in place by doing jab 1, jab 2 over and over, and as soon as he jumps, I up-air him. And so on the ledge, this is 50-50, but you can actually react to every single option, so it's essentially a frame trap if someone's on the ledge. And if they're shooting on the ledge, they have like a show at some point, so you just hold out the multi-hit and they will get hit by something. And that is essentially Rosalina and Luma's jab in a nutshell. It is a ridiculous move, and mastering the cancels and inching Luma forward is the key to using this move, and one of the keys to using this character, period. Okay, now on the tilts, the first one I'm going to talk about is down tilt. Down tilt is a ridiculous tilt. It comes out fast, I think it's like frame 5 or 6. It has decent damage doing 8. It has quite a bit of range, as you can see it hit Fox from about here. Luma's hitbox actually comes out 5 frames after Rosa's, meaning if someone hits or blocks Rosa's hit, Luma's hit still can connect because they might drop their shield early. It's safe on block though if spaced precisely. It also hits actually a bit into the air. It's hard to notice the hitbox is deceiving, but it hits a bit into the air. It also hits a bit behind Rosalina as well, meaning it's a great move not only when someone's just behind Rosa, but if someone's, well, mainly if someone's trying to roll behind Rosa, they'll get caught as they're rolling into Rosa from that down tilt. The knockback ascends someone at lower percents almost guarantees you a dash attack follow-up around this percent. Yep. See that? He's on the ground. He has to tech the ground. If he doesn't tech it, dash attack. Knocks him off stage into the perfect spot to be edge guarded. And so the trajectory not only is, well, the trajectory is great because it gives you combos, follow-ups, everything. It's pretty spammable, honestly, because how fast it is, both from the start and cooldown. As you can see, it's very fast. And it's one of her primary spacing and poking tools. And really, the only downside to this move is that if someone is up close and they block it, they can punish it if you try doing another one. And if you whiff this move like right outside someone's range and they're a fast character like Fox, they can punish you. But for the most part, most characters do have difficulties punishing this if they're not ready for this and like prepared to punish it. And so in my opinion, it is her best tilt. And it's something I would just freely use in matches. Even without Luma around, the fact that it's Rosa's fastest move makes this so useful. And even without Luma around, the trajectory Rosa sends him at is still pretty useful at mid-percent. You still get those combos, still get those follow-ups. It also kills at absurdly high percents near ledge. I mean like 150, 60%. Next is forward tilt. Forward tilt is pretty much a higher risk, higher reward version of down tilt. Has slightly more startup, slightly more cooldown, it has slightly more range, it does slightly more damage, has slightly more knockback. And so overall, if you miss this move, if you don't space it perfectly, you're more likely to be punished. But if you space it perfectly, it's pretty hard to punish. It's a great poke tool, a great spacing tool. It can kill people at super high percents, and it can put people on the ground for a ground bounce at lower percents, similar to down tilt. And overall, I just find this move to be used in the same situations as down tilt, except when I want to either get that extra range or want to take a bit more of a risk for extra damage. The main difference between the moves in terms of uses is you can pivot forward tilt, so you can run around, pivot forward tilt. If someone runs at you, you can hit them with this. You want to run behind someone, cross them up, you can pivot forward tilt. And really, that's the main use of find for this move, is when I really want to cross someone up, is when I want to pivot and do an attack, is pivot forward tilt. So it's a pretty solid move, one of her core moves for spacing and whatnot. And use it often, but just don't spam it because it can be punished. Next is Uptilt. Uptilt in short is not too special. It has fast start with Luma's initial hit, and Rosa's hit actually have average startup. Has a lot of cooldown actually. It also does okay damage, 8 with Rosa, 3 to 4 with Luma. The knockback isn't that great. It will kill at super high percents, but by then you can kill with other moves. It doesn't go that far horizontally. It goes pretty high up vertically, slightly higher than Upsmash. However, it has cooldown comparable to Upsmash. And so oftentimes I'd rather use Upsmash, Upair, or dash attack as a juggling tool when someone is, well, in the air, rather than Uptilt. Uptilt does put him above Rosalina and Luma, which does lead into certain juggles. It doesn't really combo, but it can be way set up stuff. And overall, as an anti-air move, it's just outclassed by other options. Well, Luma's initial hit when someone's on the ground does a lot of base knockback. So whether they're at 100 or they're at 32, the knockback is pretty comparable. It actually kills slightly later than Upsmash as a result. Unless you catch someone on a platform or really close to the ceiling, then it might kill super early. And the main use for this Uptilt, though, besides what giving early kills, is that it is one of Luma's fastest moves, if not the fastest Luma move. So you can interrupt a lot of approaches with this if you want to take a risk. It doesn't have much range though, so you have to be right next to Luma. And it has long cooldown, so be careful with this move. I personally don't like this move that much. Maybe it has potential, but a lot of times I think there are better moves to use in this situation than Uptilt. Now moving on to smashes, and we're going to start with down smash. Down smash is pretty much just a solid move overall. It functions the same way as most down smashes, where it hits in front and behind Rosa. It comes out quick. It has a decent amount of cooldown, but most characters don't have a good punish for this move, except characters like Fox or Brawl with really fast ground movement speed. So if you miss this move, you can just down tilt to cover yourself pretty easily, roll away to cover yourself pretty easily. If you hit someone's shield, that's a bit unsafe with the front hits, but the back hits are actually much harder to punish than shield, because how this move works is Rosa hits in the front and then in the back, while Luma starts hitting in the back and then the front. And so Rosa's hit does a lot more damage and knockback than Luma's hit, like pretty much every other move, meaning that it has a lot more shield stun. The range is alright. It actually is a bit deceptive, as you can see there, with Rosa having a bit more range in each hit than Luma. Also, another thing to note is that the front hit does less damage and knockback than the back hit with both Rosalina and Luma. Actually, I think it's hard to really tell, but I'm pretty sure the second hit of Rosalina and Luma, each second hit does more damage than the first hit, I meant to say. But yeah, so the front hit, if you hit with Rosa, most of the time does not combo to Luma's hit. But if you hit with Luma first, which means hitting with the back hit first, it will almost always combo to Rosa's hit, doing exceptionally more damage and knockback. And Luma's hit actually comes out slightly before Rosa's hit, so this is really good for catching rolls, because if you think someone's going to roll behind you, you can do like jab, down tilt, etc. React to the roll, down smash, catch them as they're just finishing the roll and being behind you, and get that damage and numbing. So yeah, overall, it just functions how you expect a down smash to function. A good way to stop people who are running at you, but there are better options for that, but mainly a way to punish people who are trying to air dodge and you don't know which way they're going to air dodge, or, like, and land next to you, or if someone's going to roll behind you or even in front of you, just use it to catch their roll. And just a fast, grounded option that should be used when you have a reader you want to cover multiple options. Just don't spam this move, because this move is punishable. And now we're up to forward smash. Forward smash is by far Rosalina and Luma's most powerful move, killing Fox like 60% of the ledge cleanly. However, it is a move with the most startup and cooldown in her entire moveset. So if this move is whiffed, if this move is blocked, you will be punished hard, you can die, so be very careful with this move. However, do not let that distance you from using the move. It has immense range as well, catching Fox from this distance and maybe a bit farther back. It is very deceptive. Most people don't expect to get hit by that. Almost all the power of this move is contained in Luma in terms of knockback, and Rosalina does more damage. Rosalina's forward smash up close combos directly into Luma's forward smash, so you'd almost never have to worry about hitting with just Rosa's forward smash and not Luma's. However, certain characters do have weird sweet spots where if you hit them at certain spots of Rosalina's forward smash or Luma's, they will get sent upwards or not take both hits. It's very weird, very character dependent. So using this move is generally a combination of spacing and making a hard read. One trick I like to do is jab jab with Luma, send him out with those jabs, and then forward smash because people don't expect the range, and it's harder to punish when you do this jab, when you space like this, because you have to cover more distance at once. As you can see, I cover almost half the stage by going jab, 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 forward smash, which is crazy. And so my main use for this move is hard reads. I use this when someone's going to fall and air dodge away from me. I use this when someone's going to spot dodge. I use this when someone's going to run at me and attack. I use this when someone is going to jump at me with the aerial, like an anti-air it. This move can be angled upwards or downwards, which makes it better for anti-airing. This can also be used off stage to catch someone's recovery. If someone grabs the ledge twice, Rose's forward smash does not hit the ledge. However, Luma's forward smash does hit the ledge, and it will almost certainly kill people grabbing the ledge twice at even medium percents. And so, there's not much else to say about this move. It's a move that you get what you see. Use this for when you want to make these hard reads, when you want to take these risks. And you want to use this move when your opponent's at kill percent, or you want to put him off stage at a really bad spot. You only want to use this move at lower percents because even though it does massive damage, it's generally not worth the risk, in my opinion. So yeah, this is a very fun move to use, and have fun exploring with it, experimenting with it, and just killing people super early with this move. Next is Upsmash. Upsmash is by far Rosalina's best smash. It's extremely fast in startup. Doesn't have much cooldown, as you can see I can spam it like this. It does a lot of damage, doing 18. And the hitboxes are really nice, hitting behind Rosa at a very nice arc, I guess I could say, nice range. It also hits in front of Rosa and Luma at like a very good range. It scoops up from farther than you expect it to. Generally, if you hit with one of either Rosalina or Luma at the start of it, it will combo with the other one, doing max damage and knockback. It has a lot of kill power. Also, Rosalina has invincibility on her head and upper body when doing this, meaning you have to hit Rosalina's like arms or lower to actually hit her if she's using this move. So it's an anti-air move because if someone throws out a hitbox or an attack as a landing, just challenge her with this. This is a great move for punches out shield because you can jump cancel up smash. If I can do it right, there we go. So great punish out shield, great anti-air, great juggling tool if someone's air dodging, you just catch the air dodge by charging this, or even just waiting for the air dodge. Or some of those air dodges, it's easy to scoop them up in the air. It actually hits a lot higher than you'd expect as well. And it's really one of those moves though that like what you see is what you get. You're gonna hit people when they're above you, hit people when they're approaching, hit people in the air, punish people with this, and really just use this as much as you want. It does have a decent amount of cooldown, so if someone air dodges through it, they can punish you. But if someone air dodges away from you when you use this move, you have enough time to cover yourself with a shield or a roll or a down tilt or anything. It also does scoop people a little bit below the ledge, so if they re-grab the ledge, you can do the up smash, and Luma will scoop people below from the ledge. So yeah, don't feel shy to use this move. This is definitely one of her bread and butter moves, and by far her best killing smash. Killing super early when you have both Rosalina and Luma. However, the individual knockbacks to each character are not that powerful. So now I'm going to get into Rosalina's areas. Before we do that, I gotta talk about Lunar Landing, also known as auto canceling. What that is when you perform an area with Rosalina, Lumina's aerial as well. However, if you land with Rosalina before the aerial comes out, Rosalina does not complete the aerial. She has minimal to no landing leg depending on your timing. But Luma's aerial still comes out. So this is a neutral air, this is a back air, this is an up air, this is a forward air, this is a down air. And what's so good about this is the hitbox is still active. So you see I did that and I had no leg whatsoever with Rosa. And this really opens up a new world of possibilities. You can do combos with this. You can just pressure with this. It gives you great landing options because you throw out this hitbox as you're landing. You can do whatever. Do this in the shield, roll. You can just pressure, frame trap. If someone blocks an aerial, you can grab them and the Soviet block stun. And really, it just does so much because you have a free hitbox coming out, no command whatsoever, follow-ups depending on the aerial, different timings, and because you already see what Rosalina is doing before she lands, the opponent has no idea knowing what aerial you did. They just know you did an aerial. Until the aerial comes out, they have no idea what is going to happen, when it's going to happen. And so you can mix people up by just going neutral air, and then going forward air next time, or back air, or down air. And it's really strong. And if you want to play Rosalina and Luma seriously, this is one of the most important techniques to know. It's pretty easy to learn, but mastering the perfect timing takes quite a bit of practice, even though I don't have it down consistently yet. But practice makes perfect, and with this character, it's just one of the strongest tools to know. One last thing to note is that when you Lunar Land something, also known as auto-canceling it, you can actually cancel Luma at any point with a B move. So I can do anything and then side B immediately, and Luma will stop what he's doing and do the side B. If I do neutrally, Luma will stop what he's doing neutrally. And I'll talk a bit more about the uses with each individual aerial as I get to them. But just know that it's really good. And one last thing to talk about, I guess, because it's not very area specific, is Lunar Landing into side B especially is great because it gives you a lot of pressure. If someone shields that, you have to deal with the side B multi-hit afterwards. You can bait him into pressing something because it looks like you misspaced an aerial. It actually lets you combo at low percents. Okay, maybe not. Fox goes off stage. And yeah, there's just so much room for creativity with this. Okay, the first air to talk about, and the most iconic probably, is neutral air. Neutral air is a very complicated aerial. So with Rosalina, Rosalina starts her hitbox from behind her, as you can see here. It's behind her, and then she spins around fully until it's in front of her. It has no landing leg, well, actually has very minimal landing leg at the end of the move when the hitbox finishes, which makes this a great pressure move if you space on someone's shield. I'd say about 85-90% of characters have no guaranteed punish on this move on shield if spaced properly. And it does decent damage, 7. It has decent knockback. Offstage it can be used as a edge guarding tool because it stands out for so long, so it catches air dodges, it catches jumps. It just catches a lot of moves freely. The back hit's also very nice, it doesn't do as much damage, it's easier time. And really this is both a juggle tool and a pressure tool, just Rosa. And when Luma comes back, I'll talk about Luma. Okay, now Luma's neutral air is different completely. It has 2 hitboxes, one in front of Rosa, one behind her. And the first hitbox comes out very fast. I think it's something like frame 5 or 6 in the hitbox, which is absurdly fast. It doesn't do much damage, but it has a lot of knockback, both base and scaling. As you can see, it killed Fox off stage 71. For that speed, it's amazing. The back hitbox is not as strong, but it does pull the opponent right towards Rosa, so it gives you guaranteed combos. And it messes up people's timing because they don't expect 2 hitboxes to come out. And so it's really an exceptional aerial. You can use this, just run at someone neutral air, hit their shield. If they run at you, they would hit. Use it as a retreating option, bait someone out and then jab something afterwards. Down tilt. You can pressure the shield by hitting the shield with neutral air from Luma, and then you can move behind their shield. If they let go shield too early, they get hit. You get a combo. They let go shield too late after the second comes out. Your leg is already over, so they can't punish you. And then you can choose it as a retreating option, so they think you're going to land behind them. You just do it and then move away. And it's a complete 50-50. Hard to punish, safe, and does a good amount of damage. Has follow-ups. And really, it's one of the key tools of playing Rosalina is spacing this move, mixing it up, and utilizing all the hitboxes of Rosa and Luma in tandem. Because you can actually combo the hitboxes together at high enough percents on most characters. Fast falls like Fox tend to not get comboed at any percent, but big characters or floaties get comboed pretty easily by it. And with combos, it leads into a grab. And now, that's just the move itself. Then you have the auto cancel / Lunar Landing applications of it, which are amazing. So, This is probably the primary move you're going to use with auto canceling. Reason being is the 2 hitboxes. Not only does it come out fast with being something like frame 5, which gives you so much pressure. Easily the best aerial for just raw pressure because of how fast it is. But then the fact that it's 2 hitboxes means you can mix people up by landing like this. You can actually roll behind someone, and when you roll, the hitbox is still gonna go. They just gotta follow Rosa, so it's easier on big characters or if someone shields. But when you get that rolling hitbox, it will still hit him, it will still pull him towards Rosa, still give you those combos. Pretty much impossible to get though without someone shielding and helping you here. So yeah, it's like that. And as a result, the 2 hitboxes lets you do a lot of things safely. So you can do this forward smash safely, because if you time it right, down tilt, forward tilt, you block it. I mean, they block it. They have to block the next hit, and most people won't expect that. And it's really just an exceptional auto cancel aerial. Next area I want to talk about is Dair. Dair is a fast area with a lot of base damage and knockback. Luma's hit especially has a lot of knockback, almost killing Fox at 60. And then Rosa's hit, which comes out after Luma's, has a spike attached to it, which can kill people. It's one of my favorite aerials because, especially off stage, when someone's like here or whatever, you're killing basically 80% with the down air. It does quite a bit of damage when 13 when both hits connect. It also, if you just hit with Rosa's down air at the right timing, it will cause a spike on the stage, which means they bounce up, giving you a free Upsmash follow-up. So I can do it. One more try. Nope. But yeah, as soon as the lingering hitbox is finished, which is as soon as the ring disappears underneath Rosa, you can do whatever you want again. As you can see, it's very spammable. However, it does linger for a bit of time, so if you whiff, someone can easily jump up and punish you. However, on shield for the most part, this is safe, it's hard to punish. It's not only a great edge guarding option, but a great option when you want to get from the ledge, you jumping down here. Hard to punish, scary, dangerous, does everything. The auto cancel is pretty nice because it gives you an immediate, extremely strong hitbox. The range is very small, but as you can see, killing Fox at 91 meter ledge. And then the follow-up's so nice because Luma comes out a little bit later than you'd expect. So you can pretty much frame trap in the grabs on someone's shield. And overall, it is one of Rosa's best aerials. Probably my favorite aerial. And you can pretty much use it whenever you want. It's also good if someone runs underneath you, you just run down near them. Hit them, knock them off stage, you can edge guard them and do whatever you want afterwards. Next area to talk about is back air. Back air is one of my favorite aerials. It does lots of damage. You see 11 with Rosa and the 4th Luma. Lots of knockback, making a great edge guarding tool. A great tool when you want to punish someone, when you want to just do anything really. It has a lot of range because as you can see, Rosa flies backwards with it. And then Luma also flies even farther than Rosa, and Luma goes underneath Rosa, covering a large amount of range. And Luma's hitbox actually extends and lasts for quite a bit of time. It's great for auto canceling because you can guarantee follow-ups after that if you do it at low percents. Even at medium percents, it's good because it sends point off stage, giving you more back air follow-ups. And those edge guarding tool, it's oftentimes just good to just go out with back airs. It's not too hard to hit with, and due to how fast it comes out and how quickly it ends, it's hard to punish. It also makes a very good landing option because if you want to land, you can just back air as you landing. And especially with the auto cancel, it's super safe. Even without the auto cancel, it's hard to punish for most characters due to how much range it covers and how Rosa is extending backwards and then just pulling a body back towards her. One thing to keep in mind though is despite the fact that it has a lot of range, most of that range is just Rosalina's body, so it can be challenged and beat by most other aerials with decent range. But don't let that stop you from pretty much just spamming this move whenever someone's in the air behind you and you just want to hit them. Or even when you're trying to land, or just really any situation when they look like they can be hit by back here. Just feel free to use it. Oh, fuck. Next area I want to talk about is forward air. Forward air is by far Rosa's worst aerial in my opinion. Doesn't do much damage, unless hit with both Rosa and Luma, which is very unlikely. Has a lot of startup for an aerial, quite a bit of cooldown as well. It lingers, so overall it's easy to punish on whiff, on block. It doesn't have much range as well, so it's easy to challenge. And really the main use for it is, if you're not sure if someone's going to air dodge or attack and they're right in front of you, you can throw it out and frame trap them and get some damage off, put them back off stage, whatever. And then, what's interesting though is, due to the fact that basically every multi-hit aerial in the game causes opponents to spike, if you land before the last hit comes out, you can use this to combo other smashes with Rosa. So you see here is, if I land with forward after the second, third hit, Fox falls, at higher percentage bounces, and if it doesn't tech after the bounce, it gives me a guaranteed smash. At lower percentage, it just gives me a guaranteed combo no matter what. And it's a very solid option because of that. If you think someone's going to press a button as you touch on the ground, it more often than not will punch the button. Just be wary that it doesn't have much range. Even if spaced perfectly, it's still punishable by a lot of characters. The last thing to note is that the auto cancel is actually pretty nice, because Luma actually comes out quite a bit after it looks like it should come out, giving Rosa more than ample time to follow up with pressure or combos or anything really. But overall, not an aerial I tend to use much. Almost always a better option. Next on the list is Upair. Upair is a ridiculous aerial, doing a lot of damage and a lot of knockback. As you can see, it almost kills Fox at 61 off the top. It comes out extremely fast, ends extremely fast, and it is one of, if not the best juggling tool in the game. It also combos out throws, combos out dash attack, it just combos out a lot of stuff at low and mid percents. And it really doesn't have any downsides. You can use it as a frame trap where if someone air dodges the first up air and you fall, most characters get caught by second up air by default. If they're fast fall like Fox, you just fast fall the second up air. Luma actually extends pretty far in the air, as you can see. He has like a little uppercut. And Rosa's up air creates a halo above her that is transcendent, meaning it cannot be beat by any other hitbox. If someone throws an aerial and tries to challenge up air, they'll lose every single time. And actually near the tip of the up air with Rosa, there is basically no knockback, so if you hit someone with the tip, it gives them extra hit stun, but no knockback, which guarantees you a second up air if you just spam it. So yeah, it's really good. Keep in mind that Rosa's up air doesn't actually kill, but it does combo to itself. But Luma's up air is the one that it kills. It can be used for frame trapping, like I said before, if you just catch someone air dodge and use it again. Big characters actually get juggled by multiple air dodges as a guaranteed combo. A lot of times I'll do up throw, up air, jump, wait for an air dodge, and then up air again. And also, the auto cancel is nice because it lets you pressure above you freely, and then do whatever you want below. And so, like, especially when someone's on a platform, you can pressure the platform with up airs, wait for a reaction, and then if they don't do anything, more up air. If they do something, react to that back air, grab, whatever you want. So the auto cancel is just really good for vertical pressure. And overall, it is just a move you can throw when someone's above you. Just be a bit careful where if someone's like right above you and you miss the up air, you can be punished. So you want to use this a little bit preemptively to get the max range on Rosa or Luma's up air. Next up we have Rosalina and Luma's neutral B. This move is an interesting move which sends out Luma. The more you charge this move, the more damage it does, the farther Luma gets sent out, and the faster she goes sent out. At full charge, Luma is actually fully invincible until he stops moving. And it actually has a lot of kill power starting around half charge. But it's also projectile, so it can be reflected by things like Fox's down B, Pit's down B, etc. However, it cannot be absorbed by Nessa's down B, by Rosalina's down B, etc. So, the main use for this move though is positioning, because you shoot Luma out and almost immediately you can do something with Luma. So it's a good way to catch someone over there just not shielding or whatever. If they're in the air and they want to land, you can shoot this out, catch them from a little farther away than if you would just move forward with Rosa. At least you cover multiple parts of the stage at once, so you can see like shoot out, do this, combo into like stuff. Because you can also use this just like set up Rosa stuff, you know. So throw it out here, go forward throw, an up tilt follow up. So there's a lot of different ways you can use it because it's primarily a stage positioning tool. as a projectile has a bit of startup, especially when you charge it, it has a lot of startup. Anyone can react to it. And unless Luma is fully charged, they can just smack Luma as she's flying, or as he's flying. And that's never a good thing. If I want to use this as a projectile, my main uses for it are if I have someone off stage and trying to grab the ledge, I'll charge it, and if they jump on the air dodge properly, can catch them with this for a very easy kill. Also, if someone is just trying to land on stage, they burn their double jumps. So I do not want to kill Fox there. Just goes to show how powerful Upair is. If you want to catch someone as they're landing, you kind of charge this. If you time it right, you can catch their landing, and it can be devastating if done right. And it's pretty hard to punish when it's spaced because it's a projectile. You know, you're not going to punish a projectile because you have to get up to the person who's using the projectile. So the main time to use it is just when you have that person in the air. And now we're up to Starbits, which is Rosalina and Luma's side B. It does not much damage. You see 8 at close range, 5 at like a more of a distance. It doesn't have much knockback. In fact, it doesn't even kill at 999%. But it has a massive amount of range. This is more range than jab, than down tilt, by a significant margin. And it also is not considered a projectile, meaning it cannot be reflected. In fact, these are transcendent, meaning it cannot be challenged by anything in the game. However, if Luma is hit before the Starbits, if Luma is hit at all the Starbit hitboxes dissipate. So meaning if Luma has 2 Starbits out, as I'll show right here. Like, there you go. So if Luma would be hit right now, that Starbit hitting Fox, hitbox would be gone completely. Yellow Starbit, no hitbox at all. Animation would complete, but that's it. So anyway, this move is another spacing move combined with forward tilt, down tilt, jab, etc. This is definitely a spacing move, definitely an area control move. The fact that it pushes people away is really nice for establishing stage control. If you push them off the stage like this and you catch their jump, you can oftentimes catch them with an Upsmash, which is a very nice setup. And just, it's one of those moves that you can use when someone's a bit too far for your other spacing tools and you want to apply pressure. It has very low cooldown, very fast startup. So, it's super hard to punish actually. And for the most part, it's a lot of free damage. When you have Luma away from you, a lot of people will be tricked by thinking that Luma is a bit too far away for a tilt. And so they have drop shield and you can just poke them with that. Especially when Rosalina is knocked off stage but Luma is still on stage. Most people just don't expect Luma to like attack from that distance. And you can really just pressure people and annoy people with this. And that's probably the main use of this move, is annoying people from a distance, whether Luma is next to Rosa or Luma is desynced from Rosa. It's actually one of my favorite moves with this character too. Next I want to talk about Rosalina and Luma's special, starting with her up B. Her up B is her recovery, it's called Launch Star. It sends her flying far and fast. It can be angled in anywhere between approximately 180 degree arc, and cannot be angled downwards or straight to left or right. After she uses it, she falls into free fall and it has no hitbox attached to it. So it's very easy for someone to just throw a hitbox as you're going for a ledge and hit her. That's why you can angle, so you can like mix them up. As you're grabbing the ledge, Rosalina actually extends her hitbox, so someone can throw a hitbox and like use a down tilt and hit you as you're grabbing the ledge. It edge stabs from the back as well, meaning it's really good to just like go upwards. It's actually harder to hit her if she's going directly up towards the ledge as opposed to towards the ledge from like an angle. Oftentimes I think someone's gonna actually go and try to hit me on the ledge, or as we're on the ledge, I'll angle it above the ledge, because as Rosalina goes into free fall, as she touches the ground, she can input anything and Luma will attack. So this means if you want to get past someone, I'll be past them. Forward tilt is hard to punish that. Overall, it's a very solid recovery. It requires a lot of practice to get good with though, otherwise you kill yourself, and I guarantee the first many times using it, you kill yourself, but practice with it and it'll be amazing. Next up is a move that's pretty infamous, Rosalina and Luma's down B. This move absorbs projectiles and items, pulling them towards Rosa. If you pull a projectile towards Rosa, it will just disappear. If you pull an item towards Rosa, Rosa is able to pick up the item, and in fact, the item becomes Rosalina's property. So if you pull like Diddy Kong's banana after Diddy Kong throws it, Diddy Kong will trip on that banana if Diddy Kong runs past it, but Rosalina will not, just because she pulled in the item. And this functions the same way for all items. It's pretty much the anti-projectile move. It actually has a massive pull range. I'd say around, if Fox was an item, it'd pull Fox in from this distance. In fact, maybe even further, maybe even like here. And it's a giant bubble. It has fast startup, so you can oftentimes react to items or projectiles and just pull them on reaction. However, the cooldown is actually pretty significant. So if someone reads you doing this, they can just run in and probably up smash you or anything really. So due to the fact that this lasts so long and has good cooldown, do not spam this. Do not use this up close. If someone's up close, be pretty sure projectiles coming out. You want to be safe. Jumping back and doing this is a good idea because it carries a little bit of momentum when you jump, but not too much. It also makes a hitbox appear when you pull an item. Well, actually, when we pull a projectile, the projectile disappears. It creates a hitbox that is equivalent to the size of the projectile you're pulling. And the knockback is increased a little bit along with the damage, but it's a very situational thing. You have to be like right touching the person. So yeah, it's just a very good anti-projectile move. It also stalls Rosalina in the air when you use it the first time. And you pretty much just use this move when you think a projectile is coming out. It also works without Luma around, so it's a very good stalling tactic when you want to just get Luma back. And one other thing I forgot to mention about this down B is that actually during the way end of down B, I'd say around, let me just show it, right around here, the down B is actually still working. I can still pull projectiles until around here. So the down B lingers a little bit past the animation and still pulls in projectiles, so you can actually move around, attack people as you're pulling in projectiles if you time it right. And this is extremely useful in certain matchups. And now we're up to dash attack. Dash attack is an interesting move. It's a move that on paper is really bad because it has a lot of cooldown, not much damage, doesn't kill, and it doesn't really fit Rosalina's moveset because she's not an aggressive character normally. But because it doesn't fit her moveset, it's exactly what she needs. It has a huge hitbox that is very deceiving, both vertically and horizontally. It comes out very fast. It has multiple hitboxes, so oftentimes people will shoot the first hit and drop shoot and get hit by the second one afterwards. At lower percents, it is a good move to set up back airs, up airs, etc. And at basically 0%, it can combo to up air. Rosalina's hitbox becomes very small when she's using this move, which makes this a good move when you just want to fly through someone who's throwing an attack out. If someone's trying to land, because it covers so much space so quickly and easily, it's a great juggle tool. And I primarily use this when I think someone's throwing a hitbox out. I just want to beat their hitbox. When I want to approach someone who's just not holding shield, it beats spot dodge as well, it punishes roll as well. And if someone's trying to land, it oftentimes frame traps landings, where if they don't have a double jump and you try to land it, you just get this for free from far distance. It's also a great move without Luma around, because Luma actually doesn't do much with this move. If I just show here, Luma does 3 damage, basically no knockback, no hit stun. It's really the Rosalina hitboxes that make this move good. One technique I do have with this move though is, if someone is off stage, let me just show this Luma. But if someone's off stage and you dash attack the ledge, Luma will extend farther out, and so the hitbox, so you can actually catch people with Luma's hitbox, and it does create extra hit stun, so it gives you enough time to guarantee a follow-up with down air as they fall. So that's very good. Keep in mind with this move that despite its combo ability, fast startup, great hitboxes, etc., it does have a lot of cooldown, so if this move is shielded, you'll more than likely eat up smash or forward smash from someone who knows that this move can be punished. But this move is a core move in Rosalina's offense, and keep in mind this move's properties because I'll be talking about grabbing a little bit, and grabbing you come out with this move as a 50-50 is an extremely important just strategies with Rosalina. So let's talk about the grab next. So Rosalina's grab is what you expect from a grab. It's quick, can be used out shield, and it beats other shields, and it's just a very good option. Actually, compared to other grabs, her pivot grab, dash grab, and regular grab are all very quick. However, the range on it is not that great, so you can see it doesn't even grab from here. It's like right next to your opponent to grab them. The pivot grab range is actually pretty big though. I can show it. And then the dash grab range is the same as the regular grab range. The cooldown on all three grabs is actually pretty significant though, so if you whiff this move, don't expect to be punished by anything major, but do expect to get punished by a jab or your opponent's grab. And don't misface this move, because if this move is misspaced, you can eat another smash from that, and you don't want to do that. So this move, space it properly. And what makes it so good is, obviously besides the fact that it's a grab, is combined with Rosalina's other offensive options, like her side B, her jab, her forward tilt, especially her dash attack and her neutral air, she's able to pressure people, mixing them up, force them to shield, and then punish their shield with the grab. And that's a core concept with any characters, forcing the shield, punish with grab. But Rosalina relies a lot on forcing people to shield her pokes, and then just randomly going in with the grab when they're too conditioned to shielding. So now, what about when you actually grab someone? Well, you're in luck with this character. Her grab follow-ups are insane. At basically 0 and super low percents on heavy characters, fast fallers, and big characters, she can do up throw into jab and just hold it, and the multi-hit connects and does like 30 damage. And it's ridiculous. Definitely her best low percent grab combo on those characters. And on most characters, up throw to up tilt is guaranteed until like 40 or 50. And at low percents, it actually gets both hits up tilt for nice, if both hits connect. Nice 19 damage. And then have down throw, she can do up air, and this is not guaranteed, but if the opponent is not DIY, she can do one up air. On fast falls, heavy and big characters, she can actually do a second up air guaranteed. On most characters, I do up air, and then jump in them, wait for an air dodge, up air again, because it's not guaranteed in most characters. You can also do down throw forward air, which is more guaranteed if they DIY. It works up to higher percents as well. The main use for down throw forward air is if you want to put someone off stage, or just send someone off stage, you do it near ledge. Some decent damage, but it gives you stage control. Next, back throw. Back throw, similar, you just do back throw into, normally back throw and forward air. It doesn't work on Fox actually, because you fall so fast. But most characters, back throw forward air is guaranteed. And it's a good way to just send them off stage and establish a stage control. It does some decent damage as well. And then forward throw is basically useless for combo purposes. You can do forward throw into dash attack on certain characters at low percents, but generally it's not worth doing this. I believe you can also do forward throw to neutral B, but similarly it's generally not worth doing this. And then finally at medium percents and above, this is where her main combo is going to place, which is just up throw up air. So as you can see here, it starts working now. And then after that, you can just follow up with more up airs. You can wait for air dodges and up smash, whatever. Just up throw is great because it sends them in a position right above you, which is exactly where you want them to be with Rosa. Rosa's up air, up smash game, and the dash attack game are all amazing for juggling. Her floatiness only makes that better. The fact that it can kill, the fact that we kick and combo with a strong hit, it's actually really ridiculous. And so the fact that up throw up air works until like highish percents, I'd say like it stops working on Fox around 90 actually. Okay, a little less than 90 stops working on Fox, probably around 80. It still works. Yep. And in fact, that was actually a weird percent. That you couldn't save that. That was a guaranteed kill combo, I think. Oh wow, yeah, that timing is like pretty much a guaranteed kill combo, that percent. So yeah, really good. Big characters get comboed by multiple up airs off this up throw. and it's pretty great. Her down throw is actually a good throw for setting up kills because you can down throw someone, wait for them to jump, wait for them to air dodge off stage, and then just down air them for a kill. Or just hit them with a neutral air, etc. Just because it puts them at like a weird spot where they're front and above you and they have different ways to move, but you can catch each movement pattern depending on what you guess and what they guess. And then back throw and forward throw both kill at super high percents near ledge. I'll show here. Forward throw has a bit less damage, but a bit more knockback than back throw. Probably killing around 150. Yep. And back throw would probably be 160 before it kills. Maybe a bit earlier, but I doubt it. Or maybe it was the opposite. Maybe it's back throw has more kill power. It's one of those two. Either way, both throws kill at high percents near ledge, and are more or less used as like emergency kill options, but they're still options. The overall fact that Rosalina's throw follow-up game is so good is what makes her a 50-50 mix-up game in the neutral amazing. So oftentimes I just go for lots of grabs with Rosalina. It's a very good thing to go for with this character. Just don't whiff them, don't use it too much because it's punishable with her actual grab, but the rewards you get for landing those grabs is immense. And there's definitely a lot of room for experimentation with her grabs, especially on big characters, especially on fast followers. And even on floaty characters, there's lots of weird setups where you can get guaranteed kills on them. Okay, next is Luma. Luma is very complicated. I could talk forever about Luma and all the little properties, so I'm just going to tell you the most important things about knowing Luma. So Luma is basically an item. Every action Rosalina does, every movement Rosalina does, has a correlating action or movement with Luma. The only exception is when Luma is like this, just not moving around while desync from Rosa, is he will walk back and forth randomly. So you can control when Luma's going to attack, where Luma will be when he attacks, etc. Luma has 52 HP, and when Luma dies, either by being knocked off stage and put into hit stun, or taking 52% worth of damage, it takes 12.5 seconds for Luma to respawn. Luma, when put in hit stun by moves with enough knockback and damage combined, cannot do anything until Luma touches the ground, so Luma put hit stun off stage and Luma's dead. And Luma is put in hit stun based on Luma's percentage taken, and the opponent's moves damage, knockback, all that stuff. I don't really know the exact formula, but I know it's based off damage, knockback, and how percentage Luma's taken. Luma's range is actually based off of Rosalina's damage and not Luma's damage. However, Luma has its own fresh counter, so if you hit a opponent with 9 up smashes from Rosa, Luma is still counted as a fresh up smash, and inversely, 9 up smashes from Luma, Rosa still has a fresh up smash. If Luma dies after using 9 up smashes, the refresh counter restarts, so Luma will act as if he never used up smash. Luma has a 1 frame input delay when Rosa presses attack, so frame 3 move with Luma is actually frame 4 because it takes 1 frame for the move to come out. Because Luma is a hurt box, moves that hit Luma will get decayed, they will lag, so a lot of multi-hit jabs, if they hit Rosalina and Luma, will lag on Luma and Rosa enough for Luma to DI away, touch the ground and shield, and by the time the multi-hit jab is out, Rosalina is in a position just to punish the multi-hit jab. Same with a lot of dash attacks where they can hit Luma, lag on Luma, and then by the time they hit Rosa, Rosa can shield. Luma also blocks projectiles, so able to run at 0 suit Samus, block paralyze a shot, Luma takes a hit, and you can just punch with Rosa for free because Rosa wasn't touched. If Rosalina is hit, Luma cannot attack if Luma is synced up to Rosa like this until Rosa is out hit stun, I believe. However, if Luma is not synced, if Luma is like this and Rosa is attacked, Luma can attack immediately even though Rosa is in hit stun. Luma is always considered in the air, which is why the auto cancels work, because technically Luma never touches the ground. Luma has 3 jumps when sent off stage, and prioritizes getting onto the stage over everything else. After the 3rd jump, Luma falls. You can also cancel these jumps by doing an attack just as Luma jumps, and the jump is burned. It's completely wasted. And so if you want to learn how Luma moves, you should really go into training mode and just like experiment for like an hour or 2, honestly, finding out all the different movement patterns Luma has when moving around. You can send Luma off stage by dash tagging towards the ledge, or do an aerial and rolling off stage, and Luma will do the attack. And I guess the last important fact about Luma is that when Rosalina is hit and Rosalina and Luma separated, Luma will actually stay in place until a set amount of time passes, or until Rosalina inputs an attack. So this can be great to confuse an opponent with things Luma might attack and come back instantly, and then some other time you might wait a second or two before pulling Luma back. So now that I've talked about all the different moves of this character, all the properties, etc., all I want to talk about is how to actually play the character, at least how I play the character. And so I view this character as a wall of sorts. So your goal when playing this character is to keep your opponents around this distance. At this distance, your opponent has to respect everything you have. Jabs, down tilts, dash grab, dash attack, up smash, everything. And if your opponent's at distance from this far until as far as you want, up to here, that's good for you. It's essentially your kingdom. Because even if you don't have long-range pressure tools like here, you're able to stop all pressure with your gravity pull and just your general hitboxes. Wherever your opponent comes to you, they're going to have issues. And you just don't want to be this close to your opponent. You don't want to be up to here with your opponent. And so, that's your spacing goal. If you know this, and you know the range of your tilts and your jabs and your stuff, you're already going to do fine. But the key to playing this character is knowing this combined with knowing your ability. Because if you're just staying in place, you're eventually going to be predictable. Your opponent can eventually pressure you and kind of bait your spacing out. But if you're staying here and then going here and then jumping with a neutral air and then rolling behind them and then just constantly moving back and forth and making so not only by keeping in the spacing you want to be, which is here and beyond, but making your opponent guess where you're going to be, they're going to have a lot of trouble because mobility is a key factor to fighting games and playing this character especially. You have so much mobility, so many mix-ups, so many ways to not necessarily pressure your opponents, but just make them react by running around a lot, using your roll, using your jumps and your landings and stuff. And just, in general, moving around is how you play this character and constantly establish your space. Because if you're just moving around a lot, your opponent's not going to be able to get next to you consistently because they're not going to know how far they have to go to get next to you. And that's the trick, playing this character. And then the other thing about playing a neutral is you're not really a pressure-oriented character. You don't have the ability to go super aggro and in their face, but you're able to force reactions because your opponent wants to get next to you, otherwise they're losing. And so when playing this character, generally speaking, you're trying to wait for their options. You're trying to wait for them to approach you and up smash them. You're trying to wait for them to roll behind you and down smash them. You're trying to just, in general, bait the opponent to doing something and then punish what they're going to do and constantly reset the situation until you put them in the air or off stage. Because as I talked about before, Rosalina's edge guarding game and juggling game is insane. And so when you have someone above you, you can juggle them. Your goal is to juggle them as hard as possible until you can't juggle them anymore. Because she gets so much damage off her juggles. And the same thing with edge guarding. Her edge guarding game is absurd. She just end stocks easily. She does it cleanly, efficiently, if you do it right. And so your goal is when you have someone above you or off stage, just go deep. Commit as hard as you can without being risky. And then that's, in a nutshell, how you play this character in neutral. The last thing I want to talk about is Luma control. So, there's no, proper way to use Luma yet. Luma's still, the metagame's still early. It's hard to say how to use Luma. When it comes to stage control, I'm not even going to talk about how to use Luma for stage control because there's so much room for growth that I feel like if I talk about it now, a year down the road, this won't be relevant at all. But when it comes to knowing what Luma is and using the position to your advantage, more often than not, you kind of just want to, if Luma's separated from you, whether you got hit or you're pulling Luma back or whatever, generally speaking, if you just know how fast Luma's going to go and where your opponent's going to be relative to where Luma is, and you just throw hitboxes in the direction, they'll be fine. So if someone hits you with a neutral air, Luma's behind them, and you just know, okay, my opponent is in front of Luma, let me just back air, and I'll hit him. That's all you need to do. You can kind of just mash buttons in the direction your opponent will be in, and you'll be fine. So if your opponent's coming towards you and Luma's coming back, and you know, hey look, I can up tilt, and they're going to call it up tilt because Luma will pass by as I up tilt. Just do that. And just knowing how to use Luma and knowing where Luma is and mashing buttons in those directions is kind of all you need to do when it comes to Luma control. It isn't as easy as it sounds though, because you have to have constant knowledge of where Luma is and where Luma's going to be. And so speaking of Luma, the last thing I want to talk about when it comes to playing this character properly is how to play when Luma's gone. So, Rosalina's moveset is really bad without Luma. Quite frankly, you don't want to fight without Luma. If you do, you're going to lose. You're one of the worst characters. So, when Luma is gone, your goal is generally to stall. If your goal when playing with Luma is to keep your opponent around here and farther, your goal when playing without Luma is to keep your opponent as far away as possible, and that's it. And so, that should be pretty easy for anyone to understand. I'm sure everyone who's played against these people played as the kind of person who just runs away and stalls time out. And that's what we do without Luma. There's a few strategies with this character specifically that works with that. One is the fact that due to your extremely slow fall speed, you're able to kind of jump off stage and just wait. This is a good 4 or 5 seconds. If I don't have Luma around, that's almost half the time gone of my 12.5 second respawn timer, where my opponent can't really touch me unless they want to take a huge risk edgeguarding me. And so you can do that, just jump off stage. You can also just jump around the air a lot. Due to the fact that your rolls and air dodges are invisible, when Luma's gone, they can't really tell where you're going to be. So just rolling around and air dodging is a mix-up in itself, because your opponent has to guess where you're going to be after each roll, after each air dodge. They can't react to you going invisible. Go out with your natural floatiness. It's not really like a bad strategy, just kind of jump around without Luma. And then, as I said before, you kind of want to wait for opponents to react. So if your opponent's getting too aggressive with dash attacks, dash grabs, etc., when you don't have Luma, you can really just wait for those and punish with shield grabs and up smashes and whatnot. And so, yeah, for the most part, you're just playing runaway without Luma, using some extra tactics. If you have a platform, you can jump on the platform if they don't have the command grab or a great shield poke. You can just stand there and shield and jump around when they get close. And you'll be fine, because there's no way for them to pressure you in this game with shields, because you can't be pushed off platforms. And so in essence, that's how I play this character. It's not necessarily the way to play this character, but it's the way that's worked for me so far. And I hope this helps you just learn how to play this character. And that's the end of this video. I made this video hoping it really helps whoever's watching, whoever wants to learn how to play Rosalina, or just whoever wants to learn how to get better with the character. If you have any questions, criticisms, comments, please leave them below. I'm going to be checking pretty frequently. And depending on the reception of this guide, I may make part 2 that discusses customs, more in-depth techniques, and a lot of other stuff. But this guide really hopefully covered all the fundamentals, all the need-to-know bases. And once again, thank you for checking this out, and